and you're watching Go With The Flow.
Hey guys, welcome back to Go With The Flow. Today I'm going to tell you guys a little story. It's going to be a story time. I have not done story times here really at all because I don't know where line is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's too soon to talk about, what could like potentially hurt someone. I don't know that boundary, but I guess this will be me testing the waters. Because also the people who, caused a little chaos, I think that they were proud of their actions and they'd probably still stand by it. I have a lot of stories that I just don't think I can ever tell because it's just too real and too close to my life. This one I feel like I'm pretty detached from it, and so it's okay. Sorry if I'm over explaining. I just don't want to get in trouble for this. So this story was in sophomore year of high school. Sophomore year of high school for me was a year where I was just kind of going crazy. Freshman year was COVID for me, so I just never really talked to people, and I missed out on a whole year of high school, and I was literally in my room for the entire year when sophomore year happened, and I'm around all these people and I have the range to say whatever I want, do whatever I want. I just kind of went crazy. I don't really know how to explain it, but it was just one of those years. When this story took place, Seamus and I were not dating yet, but we definitely knew that we liked one another and we knew that we were going to date. And I mean, it was literally 2 weeks after we met. We were in school. It was lunchtime and he told me, Florencia, we should sit together. I hadn't sat with him before. I was kind of excited, so I was like, yeah, we should sit together. And so we're in the cafeteria and we're looking for different places to sit, We don't want to be around too many people because I don't know, what if it's awkward? What if it's weird? But there's really nowhere to sit. And so I'm like, oh, well, you can sit with my friends. And he's like, no, I want you to sit with my friends. And immediately when he said that, I felt a bad feeling in my stomach. I'm like, this is not gonna go well. I'm like, no, I don't think your friends like me. That's not. He's like, no, that would be so fun. You have to sit with my friends. Still, I'm like, no, that's not gonna work for me, But then he shows me his little friend group table, right? And I just see one kid there, and this is a really nice kid. And I'm like, you know what? This is fine. I'll sit with them. So I sit down with Seamus and his friend. We'll call him Nico. So I'm sitting with Seamus and Nico. Everything's fine. This kid's chill. And also, by the way, when I sat down, the first thing I said was, I'm scared. All of a sudden, these two kids sit down. These two kids aren't really friends with Seamus that much. I mean, they are, but they're not close friends. Let's call them Brandon and Carl. I've known them because, they were actually there the day that Seamus and I met. Their bit, I guess, is just being crazy and low-key being mean to women. At the time, I kind of just wanted validation, and so I would just take it. You know what I mean? They would just kind of shit on me all the time. They would be like, oh my gosh, I bet you think you're funny, but you're not funny. You have no personality. Everything you say comes from someone else. You're ugly or whatever. And I'll just sit there laughing and obviously it hurt me, but sometimes you just want validation. You brush it off and you're like, ha 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 ha. And so that was just kind of the vibe with these kids. By this point, there was a little bit of a falling out with these two, and not nothing big, but just we kind of stopped talking and there was a little bit of bad blood. And so when they sat down, I was low-key a little bit worried, but I'm like, you know what? I don't think it'll be that bad. I'm talking to Seamus and immediately Carl was like, shh. And I'm like, what? And then he's like, woman can't speak at this table. But I'm like, he's joking. So I keep talking to Seamus and he's like, shut up. And I'm immediately, I'm uncomfortable. And I'm but I'm laughing it off again because at this time I just felt I was looking for validation and I would just kind of go along with these types of things. So I would then shut up. Seamus was in a tough situation because, we weren't dating, so I feel he couldn't be don't talk to my girlfriend that way, you know what I mean? Which I would not want him to ever say anyways, but he just didn't know what to do. And also we didn't know each other that well, so me laughing it off I think made him be oh, is she comfortable with is this a thing? I don't know. So it was just a really like weird situation. So this just keeps going on. Like I'm not speaking anymore because I'm honestly embarrassed. I'm like, and also more people start coming. It's kind of like a gag now. Like, don't let Florencia speak because she's a woman, she's annoying, and she shouldn't be speaking. Mr. President, I am not speaking. And then someone else comes. I wish so deeply that I could say his name. For those of you who know, you know what I mean? His name is so perfect. It's so unique. It's one that I would love to share, but I can't. So I'm gonna call him Ejaculator. Ejaculator sits down. This man, okay? He has been plenty rude to me. I'll just get into it. This guy, he has called me fat. He told me that my double chin looks like a tumor and that like it looks like I have cancer. That's how big my double chin is. I don't want to bring hate back to him. I don't know how to say this without sounding like an asshole, but like he was projecting. He would always hate on women. He would always like say shit, like be like, oh, you're flat, you're fat, you're whatever, to like a bunch of girls and just like make them feel bad for no reason. And so, you know, he sits down and I knew trouble was coming. Which, by the way, Seamus was like so confused why this was happening because his friend group is like a whole different group of guys who are all so nice and caring. Because now I know them, I'm like, oh my gosh, love them. Like, this was not his group. This was just like a weird instance. Like, why is everyone sitting down here right now? Him and Carl and Brandon or something, whatever I named them, they are all kind of talking and then whispering to each other. Since they're talking to each other, I'm like talking to Seamus again. Immediately they're like, why is she here? Like, why is she talking? All this stuff. And again, I'm embarrassed, but I'm taking it. And I didn't think anything would like get me, you know? That is until another kid comes. We'll call him Jeremy. Jeremy and I have some bad history. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to bring up his past, which ended in school suspension. He absolutely hated me. And so when he showed up, and by the way, at this point, he's not friends with Seamus at all. Like, they're not even like mutuals or acquaintances. This was the Avengers from hell. They all fucking assembled. When he shows up, I'm like, this is not gonna be good. Brandon, Carl, Ejaculator, and Jeremy, they all kind of like huddle up. I'm like at this point whispering to Seamus, and then all of a sudden someone taps me on my back and I turn around. Before I even get to see who it is, I am sprayed with water, and it was Jeremy, the one who I guess got suspended. He filled up Gatorade water bottle and then he just squeezed it on my face, and then everyone's laughing. I'm literally humiliated. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Like, because I didn't want to be dramatic because like I really liked Seamus and like I don't know, I just didn't want to like do anything, so I just kind of like walked away. Like I got up and then like quickly left because I was mortified. And so then I go outside to my friend group's table. I immediately like tell them what happened, but then Seamus comes, and since I don't want to like show that like, oh my gosh, like I'm embarrassed, I just start making jokes. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like they're my fans, whatever. Just like literally trying to get through the situation without feeling horrible about myself. And then one kid from the table, not a bad one, we'll call him Mark. So Mark, who was sitting down, this kid actually was friends with Seamus and he was nice. He comes up to me, he's like, to me and Seamus, and he's like, oh my god, that was so bad. I am so sorry. Like, I don't know what the fuck just happened there. I see him whisper something to Seamus. I'm already like at my breaking point, but I'm like, what would he say? Mark basically goes like, okay, so when you left, Ejaculator was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know Seamus likes ugly girls. I completely just like go crazy and I'm like, oh my god, Ejaculator's so hot! Like, oh my god, like I literally want him so bad. Like, everyone knew I was joking because this guy, let's just say, I would never say that about him. And like everyone's laughing and like everyone thinks like I'm like now fine and like, but really I was like depressed as fuck. And so, which is now over. I was so glad that it was finally over. I don't think that many people saw this, like only my friends and then like the people at the table saw. And then people are going up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, like we're so sorry that happened to you. Like we just heard, like that's horrible. What the hell? And I'm just like, oh yeah, like it's fine, like whatever. Like I'm literally laughing it off. I'm like, but I was not happy. And then Seamus is like texting me a bunch, and he's just like telling me he's sorry and like he doesn't know what to do and all this, and like that he should have listened to me and I'll bring him to his table, all this stuff. And at this point I am ghosting him because I was just embarrassed. Like I didn't blame him at all. Like it wasn't his fault. I was just like, I was so embarrassed. Like I just wanted to like hide away and go home. In the time that I was ghosting him, he thought that I was like through with him. So then he decides to confront the people who did that to me. Again, he's not like close to them. Like these aren't actually his friends. So it was just like, from what I heard, it was like just really awkward and uncomfortable. I hear about this later on, but that's just like what's happening while I'm ghosting him. And then it's the end of the day and I decide to just like sit down in the cafeteria and just wait for like my dad to pick me up. Like I didn't want to go on the bus and like have like people there. So, and the cafeteria is like on the exit, so that's why I was sitting there in the crime scene. And then he found me. He sat down with me and he's like, Florencia, I am so sorry for like what happened. Like that is so horrible. I don't know why they were being so mean. Like trust me, like those aren't my friends. Like when I wanted you to sit down with me and my friends, like those are not the people who I was talking about. Like I'm so sorry, I should have listened to you. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Like it's really not your fault. I've made too many enemies at this school. I should have known better than to sit there and to just like take all that, whatever. And then I see a little person walk by and it's Nico. He immediately is like, he's like, yeah, because he saw us talking. He didn't think I was like seeing this. Seamus is like, and like I'm watching this, I'm like, what the fuck? It was good because it actually made me laugh so much. But yeah, I guess that was how it was solved with Jeremy, the one who actually sprayed the water on me. I like also went up to him. I shouldn't have done this, but I was just like being super mean to him. I'm like, I can't believe you did that. Like that was so embarrassing. Like you're actually like such a horrible person. I was low-key like overdoing, you know. He sprayed water on me. I didn't have to like go for him personally. I mean, for that I honestly do apologize. But I don't hate him anymore. I don't hate Carl and Brandon. I don't live for Ejaculator. But that's a different story time. With all these things that I'm talking about, like, I probably did deserve it, and, like, being humbled like that was probably something that needed to happen, considering that was the year that I was getting into so much trouble with, like, so many different people, and even the school. I swear I was, like, in, like, the school's office, like, every single week. There was just so many things going on. Problems with the police at that point. Everything was crazy, but, you know, everything worked out. Good luck, Charlie. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want more story times, let me know. I have a bunch. We'll see which ones I pick out. I've lived a long life. I love you guys.